Know that I would be alive.
And I dig those reloving blues.
There is a song, and the moment you hear the first few notes, you're somewhere else. That's the power of music. The 10 songs in this video brought back memories for an entire generation. They weren't just hits. They told the story of love, loss, hope, and the moments that shaped our lives. Let's take that journey together. Song number 1, Blowin' in the Wind, Bob Dylan, 1963. Some songs ask questions. This one changed what questions were allowed to be asked. In the spring of 1962, a 21-year-old folk singer in New York City sat down and wrote a song in under 10 minutes, or so he claimed. Bob Dylan would later say about the song, almost dismissively, "This here ain't no protest song." He was wrong, and he probably knew it.
Many deaths will it take till he knows too many?
Blowin' in the Wind posed questions so simple they cut right through you. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? No answers. Just questions hanging in the air like smoke.
How many years can some people
The song wasn't an immediate hit when Dylan released it, but when Peter, Paul, and Mary covered it, it exploded, reaching number 2 on the charts in the summer of 1963, just months before the historic March on Washington, where 250,000 people gathered and heard it sung live. This song didn't just capture a moment in history, it helped create one. For an entire generation, it became a reminder that asking the right question, even without an easy answer, is one of the bravest things a person can do.
How many seas must the white dove sail before?
Song number 2, The Sound of Silence, Simon and Garfunkel, 1964. One night in 1963, a 21-year-old named Paul Simon locked himself in a bathroom, turned on the faucet so the water would run. He liked the sound of it and began to write in the dark. What came out of that solitary moment was one of the most haunting songs ever recorded.
People talking without speaking. People hearing.
The Sound of Silence wasn't written to be famous. When Simon and Garfunkel released it on their debut album in 1964, it barely sold 2,000 copies. The duo split up. Paul Simon moved to England. Art Garfunkel went back to college. The song seemed forgotten. But then, something unexpected happened. Without telling either of them, their producer quietly added electric guitars and drums to the original acoustic recording and re-released it as a single. Simon and Garfunkel had no idea. It went to number 1.
I've come to talk with you again.
Art Garfunkel once described the song's meaning simply, "It's about the inability of people to communicate with each other, not internationally, but especially emotionally. What you see around you are people unable to love each other." In a decade full of noise and upheaval, this song reminded people of the profound loneliness that can exist even in a crowd. Some songs comfort you. This one understood you.
Because a vision softly creeping.
Song number 3, Good Vibrations, The Beach Boys, 1966. By 1966, the Beach Boys had already given the world summers full of sunshine and surfboards. But Brian Wilson wasn't satisfied with just being popular. He wanted to make something extraordinary. Good Vibrations took 6 months to record. It passed through 17 different studios. It cost $50,000, an almost unheard of budget for a pop single at the time. Wilson called it a pocket symphony, and he wasn't exaggerating. song was built in pieces, like a mosaic, different sections recorded separately, and then assembled into something that felt both effortless and miraculous. When it was finally released, listeners didn't quite know what they were hearing. Nothing had ever sounded quite like this before. The theremin, the layered vocals, the sudden shifts in tempo and mood, it was pop music. But it was also something more. It reached number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic. More than anything, Good Vibrations was a reminder that pop music could be ambitious, that 3 minutes on the radio could contain entire worlds. Song number 4, Respect, Aretha Franklin, 1967. When Otis Redding originally wrote and recorded Respect in 1965, it was a plea from a man asking his woman to respect him when he came home. Then Aretha Franklin got hold of it. She flipped it completely. She slowed it down, added her church-trained power, brought in her sisters for background vocals, and turned a man's request into something entirely different, a declaration. The Queen of Soul didn't ask for respect. She demanded it. Released in 1967, at the height of both the civil rights movement and the emerging women's liberation movement, the song arrived at exactly the right moment. It became an anthem for anyone who had ever been made to feel small Black Americans, women, anyone who had been told to sit down and be quiet. That spelling out of R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Aretha improvised it in the studio. The song went straight to number 1 and stayed there for 2 weeks. But its cultural impact lasted decades. To this day, whenever Respect comes on in a restaurant, a car, an elevator, people stop, they listen, and often, without meaning to, they smile. Some songs don't just speak to a moment, they become the moment. Song number 5, What's Going On? Marvin Gaye, 1971. In 1970, Marvin Gaye was one of Motown's biggest stars. He was expected to keep recording safe, danceable pop songs. He was expected to stay in his lane. He refused, inspired in part by a conversation with his brother Frankie, a Vietnam veteran who came home shattered by what he'd seen. Marvin Gaye began writing something that had never come out of Motown before. What's Going On was a question directed at the entire country, at the war, at the violence in the streets, at a world that seemed to have forgotten how to listen. Motown's founder, Berry Gordy, initially refused to release it. He thought it was too political, too risky. Marvin Gaye reportedly refused to record anything else until they released it. When it finally came out in 1971, it went to number 1. The entire album that followed is now considered one of the greatest ever made.
Brother, 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 there's far too many.
The song's genius was in its gentleness. It didn't shout. It whispered with a voice so smooth and sorrowful it was impossible to ignore. Father, Father, everybody thinks we're wrong. But who are they to judge us simply because our hair is long? In a country torn apart, Marvin Gaye asked the simplest, most devastating question of all. What is happening to us? We're still trying to answer it.
But don't punish me with brutality.
Song number 6, Fortunate Son, Creedence Clearwater Revival, 1969. John Fogerty wrote this song in about 20 minutes. He was angry and it showed. In 1969, the Vietnam War draft hung over every young American man like a storm cloud that wouldn't move. And Fogerty had noticed something. The sons of senators, the sons of millionaires, the so-called fortunate sons, they weren't the ones being sent overseas. Unfortunate Son didn't mince words. It was raw, furious, and perfectly direct. It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son. The song captured a simmering rage that millions of young Americans felt but couldn't quite articulate. Fogerty did it in 3 chords and under 3 minutes. It reached number 14 on the charts, but that number doesn't tell the real story. The real story is that this song became the sound of a generation's disillusionment, the sound of young people realizing that not everyone played by the same rules. Decades later, it still turns up in films and documentaries whenever filmmakers need to capture the spirit of that era in a single instant. Because some songs don't just describe a feeling, they are the feeling. Song number 7, Light My Fire, The Doors, 1967. The Doors were not a typical band. Their lead singer, Jim Morrison, was a poet who happened to front a rock group. Their keyboard player, Ray Manzarek, had a classical background and brought something almost spiritual to everything he played. Light My Fire was actually written by guitarist Robbie Krieger, not Morrison, which surprises people to this day. When it was originally recorded, the song was 7 minutes long, featuring an extended instrumental section that let each musician stretch out and breathe. Radio stations told them to shorten it. They released both versions. The shortened version went to number 1 and stayed there for 3 weeks. But the full-length version, the one that opened up and asked you to stay a while, became the one people truly loved. Light My Fire arrived at a moment when the counterculture was at its most alive, most electric, most uncertain. It had darkness in it, and longing, and something that felt like fire in the most literal sense.
And our love become a funeral pyre.
For baby boomers who came of age in that era, this song isn't just a memory. It's a feeling of being young and burning and not yet knowing what would come next.
Yeah!
Song number 8, American Pie, Don McLean, 1971. Don McLean was 12 years old on February the 3rd, 1959, the day the music died. That was the day Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper boarded a small plane in Iowa. They never landed. McLean never forgot it. And 12 years later, he wrote a song about it and about everything that came after. American Pie is 8.5 minutes long. It was rejected by every major label before someone finally took a chance on it. Radio stations, which rarely played anything over 3 minutes, played it in full. Listeners sat in their parked cars rather than miss a single verse.
Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God?
The song is a riddle wrapped in poetry, a journey through the entire arc of the 1960s. From the innocence of rock and roll's early days to the darkness of Altamont, from the Beatles to Woodstock, to a sense of something irretrievably lost. Nobody could agree on exactly what all the symbols meant. McLean refused to explain most of them, but everyone who lived through those years understood the feeling underneath it all. That something beautiful had existed, that something had broken it, and that the world after was different from the world before.
Why, when the jester sang for the king and queen in a
I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride, but something touched me deep inside the day the music died. Every time this song plays, and it still plays, everywhere it asks you to remember. And most baby boomers find, without meaning to, that they do. Song number 9, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon and Garfunkel, 1970.
I will drive them home.
By 1970, Simon and Garfunkel were falling apart. The friendship that had begun in elementary school, that had survived a failed debut album and produced some of the most beloved music of the decade, was fraying at the edges. Paul Simon was pulling in one direction. Art Garfunkel was being drawn to a film career. Into that tension came the most generous gift one artist ever gave another. Paul Simon wrote Bridge Over Troubled Water and handed the lead vocal entirely to Art Garfunkel. Simon himself would sing only in the final verse. When you're weary, feeling small. When tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. The song became the best-selling single of the entire decade. It won 5 Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year. But the deeper story is the one behind the music of a friendship that was ending even as it produced its most perfect thing. Garfunkel later said he wished he'd been more grateful to Simon for the gift of that song. Simon later said he sometimes regretted giving it away. That human complexity, the bittersweet truth that our most beautiful moments are sometimes also our last ones, is what makes Bridge Over Troubled Water more than a song. It's a testament. Song number 10. Imagine. John Lennon, 1971.
I hope someday you'll join us.
And then there was this. John Lennon wrote, Imagine in 1971, in a white room in his English country home. He sat at a white piano. His wife Yoko Ono sat beside him. Outside, the world was still at war. The song asked for something that sounded simple and was nearly impossible. Imagine a world without borders, without religion used as a weapon, without greed, without the endless reasons human beings find to hurt each
They
other.
say I'm a dreamer. I hope someday you'll join us.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. People called it naive. Lennon didn't care, because here's the thing. The song was never a plan. It was never a policy. It was a prayer. And for a generation that had lived through assassinations and wars, and a world that kept breaking promises, having someone stand at a piano and dare to dream out loud meant everything.
Imagine all the people.
Imagine spent weeks on the charts. It has since been translated into dozens of languages, sung at memorials and celebrations on every continent, beamed into outer space. And every time it plays, for just a few minutes, something in you softens. You remember why you once believed the world could be better. And maybe just for a moment you believe it again.
All the world you.
10 songs, 10 moments, one extraordinary generation. These weren't just recordings, they were proof that music could do something few other things can. It could hold a whole era in its arms. The joy and the grief, the hope and the anger, the love and the loss. If you grew up with these songs, you know something the rest of us can only read about. You know what it felt like to be young in a world that was changing so fast it could take your breath away. And these songs were there for all of it. So, which one brought you back? Leave a comment below. Tell us the memory that came to you. Tell us where you were when you first heard it. Because the music doesn't just live on records. It lives in you. If this moved you, please give the video a like and subscribe for more journeys into the music that shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.